It's another great day to be alive. Welcome back to the podcast. It's good to see me, isn't it? I'm getting so excited for Wicked. It is so close, yet so far. I feel like I've been waiting for this forever, literally since this time last year. But we're about 2 weeks away. I'm so excited. I'm starting to get some Wicked invites in my inbox. I can't wait to maybe wear my dress again. It's going to be so Oztastic. Let me know in the comments if you guys already grabbed your tickets to the movie theaters. I feel like LA people are a bit crazy when it comes to, obviously this is where everyone who works in the industry lives. So if there is a movie that is highly anticipated, such as Wicked, the theaters sell out like weeks in advance. So I got my tickets the day they went on sale. It was insane. I remember waking up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, and maybe it was like 5 a.m. and the tickets had already gone on sale. It was like they had gone on sale at maybe midnight or something the night before. And the theater at the Grove, which is normally where I like to go to the movies, was literally like half sold. And I was like freaking out at 5 in the morning, like, okay, I need to get up and buy tickets. So anyways, I am very excited. I'm going to an early screening on Thursday next week, and I just can't wait. I have been very much in this season, and I think I've mentioned this a couple times, like in this season of decluttering lately, but like I'm taking it to a whole new level, and I thought maybe I'd share to inspire anybody out there. I feel like I've gotten to a point, maybe it's my age, maybe it's a part of the fact that I do accumulate a lot of stuff, like things are sent to me in PR because of my job. Also, I love to shop, like there's no denying that, but I've become so grossed out by excess things, like even when it comes to silverware. For example, my mom had gifted us a set of silverware recently, so I now have like 4 times the amount of silverware that I actually need for the two of us, and it's giving me severe anxiety. Every time I open the silverware drawer, the drawer gets stuck, there's too many spoons, there's too many things, it's mixed matched. And that might seem specific and nuanced, but I really feel like there is anxiety associated with every, like, I don't want to say there's anxiety all day long because that sounds a little ridiculous, but when you make decisions, micro decisions all day long, what plate are you going to use? What bowl? What mug for your coffee? You have 20 pairs of jeans to pick from. Which one are you going to wear? Okay, you have 50 pairs of sneakers. Which sneaker? Like, those micro decisions, when you're overwhelmed with so much choice, I feel like it really can have an effect and kind of bog you down. And I really have gotten to the point where I don't want to feel like I have so much stuff that I don't know or remember what I have. So that just means lately I've been choosing a different drawer, a different cabinet, whatever it might be, whenever I have a chance. So like today, for example, I'm going to be going through my socks and my underwear, and I'm going to be saying, okay, what do I have too much of? What do I not wear? What do I purposefully stuff in the back of the drawer because I know I never touch it? And if that is the case, that stuff needs to be donated immediately. I do not need 600 pairs of underwear. I don't have 600 pairs of underwear, but you guys get the point. That mentality has really helped me. And then the other mentality that's helped me when coming to like making decisions as to whether or not I'm going to keep something is if I were to walk in the store today, would I purchase this item? No questions asked. And if there's any sort of hesitation there and the answer is maybe or I'm not sure, it's got to go. Because if it doesn't align with like my current mindset, needs, lifestyle, style, whatever it is, it's got to go. I don't need it in my space. So there's my little rant about decluttering, if that is helpful to anybody out there. Now switching gears to our girl Tay Tay, really nothing to report here. In the pop culture world, I feel like the most that we've seen of Taylor Swift as of late is just some sightings of her in New York City and some rumors that potentially maybe she's asked Gigi Hadid, Selena Gomez, her whole little girl group, I think her friend Ashley, to be bridesmaids. Obviously, that's definitely not confirmed, but I will say I wanted to talk to you guys about her outfits lately. They have been so good, and I feel like Taylor is the definition of when you find something that works, you repeat it, and I feel like she loves the mini skirt high heel boot tight combo. It looks really good on her. She's got long legs. Would I like to see more variation? Absolutely. I kind of feel like we see the same outfit a lot in like just different patterns, but I really love some of the looks that she's worn recently. I feel like she does fall and winter wear really, really well. Her style seems to fit with that. But it's making me curious if her bridal era fashion is something that we're going to get a glimpse into at all, if she's really going to lean into bridal era fashion at all, or if it's going to be something that maybe we don't see until after the fact, like a photo dump from her and Travis, you know, after they're already married or after they go on their honeymoon, or if we're never going to see it. Very curious, because I feel like anything she wears in her bridal era will inevitably be trending and we're all going to need to buy it. The only other really pop culture thing that's been on my radar this week, or last week I should say, is the Grammy nominations have come about. So I was excited to see, I don't know, it's kind of like an interesting mix of people for Grammy nominations. There was a little bit of, who was it? SZA, we had Chapel Roan. I'm totally blanking. Oh my gosh, I love that Bad Bunny song, DTMF. That's personally my pick for Song of the Year. I don't feel like anything off of Sabrina's album, I would say was like a Song of the Year, Record of the Year. But I'm curious to hear from you guys for Album of the Year and Song or Record of the Year. What do you think will win those two categories? Because it really is a toss-up. I thought that Doechii Anxiety was a really good choice as well. That was very viral on social media, so I'm not sure of like commercial success, how that did, or how like what sort of numbers it pulled on streaming, but I do know that song was crazy, obviously, on social media. Kind of have a lot of topics I want to touch on today with you guys. I kind of just jotted down some bullet points, and one of them was expanding upon a post that I made on Instagram this past weekend, talking about how I canceled my gym membership. I wanted to talk about this because I think that like exercise and moving our body, this is such a touchy subject to begin with, but I feel like I have fallen victim especially to kind of this mentality that like if I'm not taking workout classes, if I'm not getting my 10K steps, then I'm not doing it right. And this is something that I'm actively trying to overcome all the time, but I feel like I really had to get over my ego and have a little bit of a come to Jesus moment with myself, because for me, having my gym membership, it was at this really luxurious gym. It's sort of this like gym social club. It's really, really pretty gym. They have good classes. I had my frustrations. It was very difficult to get into classes. If I wasn't on my phone at noon every day to make my reservation, then I probably wasn't going to get in. Like there was different frustrations that I had. But overall, I felt like the gym it didn't bring me joy. Instead, it brought me a lot of dread. And I kind of had to have this moment with myself of like, I do not enjoy going here. Yes, it's pretty. Yes, I have been, fortunate and successful enough to be able to afford going here. But is it something that I really want to be spending this much money on? And that answer was no. And then the second question was like, why am I forcing myself to do something that does not bring me joy, which then trickles into everything else? I'm waking up feeling annoyed. I'm starting my day with, being annoyed and then waiting to the 11th hour to leave for my class because I don't want to go to the gym. Why am I forcing myself to do something I don't want to do? And the reality was I was doing it, and I've been doing it because this is what I feel like I'm supposed to do, to stay in shape, to be active, to be healthy, whatever it is. And I wanted to have this moment with myself where I'm like, why am I making this decision based on what society has told me is good for movement for my body? Am I saying I'm not going to move my body? Absolutely not. But I wanted to find ways that work best for me. And the whole reason that I had stopped, if you've been following me on social media, you know that it was about a year ago, I started posting dance content where I found a couple dance classes in town that I really enjoyed. It was like beginner adult dance classes. So much fun, a great workout. I enjoyed and looked forward to going to them. They had different themes. I would wear cute outfits. A group of girls was really empowering, uplifting, and I walked away feeling invigorated versus annoyed. And so the only reason I wasn't doing those is I didn't want to double dip. I didn't want to pay for a dance class and pay for my fancy gym membership. I had this moment where I was like, wait a second. Why don't I just cancel my gym membership and go all in and do stuff that I actually find to be fun, which is what led me to signing up for my 6-week musical theater dance intensive. I'm starting out easy. I'm doing one class a week, and I wanted to challenge myself for the rest of the year. And we're going to get into this in a second. I've been thinking a lot. It's the end of the year. We have 2 months left, not even 2 months, less than 2 months. What can I do for myself? And I really wanted to find something where I'm like, I want to be consistent with something. I want to stick with it through the end of the year, and I want to feel like I poured into my cup and did something purely for me. So is this going to be like the best workout of my entire life? I don't know, maybe not, but it is going to be something that's going to bring me joy, and that'll make me a better person at the end of the day. And I feel like this is really applicable to honestly anything. Matt and I were talking about this yesterday when we went to dinner. The bartender was really rude to us. Matt had ordered a drink and it just tasted off. Like it didn't taste good. It was really bitter. And I have no problem saying something to the staff if I feel like there's something wrong with what we're paying for. And so we had said, hey, like this drink is just not tasting right. Can we maybe swap it for something different? And she was really, really rude to us. She rolled her eyes, she made this face, and her body language was just really nasty. And we had this conversation following it because Matt was like, well, now I really don't want to do this again. I don't want to approach someone whenever I feel like I'm dissatisfied with my drink. And I'm like, you know what? She made the conscious decision to show up to work. She has the ability to get a different job if she's not happy here. I understand that circumstances might be tricky for people, but if you're in a situation where that is your reality, you are a bartender at this restaurant in Venice Beach, and you're choosing every day to wake up and you're going to put out that negative energy, all that's going to do is make your life worse in return, because then we were closed off to her, the vibes were off, and it just creates this tumbleweed. So I guess where I'm going with this is like, whatever your reality is, whatever your situation is, finding joy in that reality is only going to do good for the rest of your day, for the rest of your life, because it's going to create positive interactions. I have a really great example of positive interaction and accepting my reality. I was really, really struggling when I first moved to LA. I'm going on so many side stories here, but it's important. I was really struggling when I first moved to LA. I had quit my job in sales about a year and a half in, and I was really starting over. I didn't have like a solid or stable, like regular job, so I was working all these gig jobs. And I could have chosen to be miserable about that. I wasn't making a lot of money at all. I mean, there was times where I made $1,300 for the whole month and my rent was $900. And after all my other bills, I would have like $50 left. But I was making it work. It was scrappy and I was doing what I could. And I had this really, really positive interaction while serving ice cream to somebody at this event. I'll never forget it. She was very kind, and her son had a birthmark just like me. Maybe I've told this story before. And I ended up saying like, hey, I noticed your son has the same birthmark as me. And I ended up having this really cool interaction with her. And to this day, literally 10 years later, I still keep in contact with this woman who has an incredibly cool job. And it's a great it's a great person to have in my network. But if I had chosen to go to work that day and be negative and sour about the fact that I wasn't making a lot of money, that I wasn't working the job of my dreams, I would have never had that interaction. Does that make sense? But anyways, pivoting back to the actual part of like physical health and moving my body, I did want to mention how much I really thoroughly enjoy my Aura ring. I know that a lot of people are like shopping for holiday gifts, and I've gotten some requests and questions on my social media, so I figured I'd briefly chat with you guys about it. I've been wearing my Aura ring for, I want to say I've had it for over 3 years at this point. I will say I'm getting to the point where I do wonder if I need to swap it out for a new one, because I do have the gold one and I feel like it's gotten a little bit banged up and scratched up. You won't be able to tell from if you're watching the video from here, but I can definitely see it's like definitely gotten some wear and tear. I also feel like the newer ones are a lot thinner, which I would appreciate. Where I'm going with this is wearing this all day long really opens my eyes to the fact that I'm actually so much more active than I give myself credit for. And anybody out there who's maybe sedentary at their job like I am, you know, most of my day is on my phone, computer, whatever it is, it's really eye-opening to see how active I am, even just around the house. The other day I didn't leave the house, but I still got like 9,500 steps just by doing laundry and cleaning and all the things. So it's really eye-opening, and I would highly recommend adding to your holiday list if you are looking for a good gift. Now, kind of rounding this out, I had mentioned where my mindset was, you know, thinking about the rest of the year. And this year I did so much traveling, which I'm really proud of myself. I worked really hard to be able to afford doing that much traveling, but I have to be honest with you, it really took it out of me. I am the type of person that thrives with routine and habit. So traveling, literally, I took over 24 flights in 2025, which means if we were to evenly space that out, that's basically traveling every other week. And I think for 2026, I don't want to say, oh, I'm not going to travel as much, because I know myself, I'm probably going to travel, but I think I want to do less travel and more intentional about the travels that I do. So I have my 30th birthday coming up in June, and then I probably will want to take one more trip later in the year. So that might mean making sacrifices on maybe some work trips or whatever it might be. But I think it's okay to say no to things, even if you really, really want to do them, for the sake of your future self. So like for me, I know by saying no to some fun trips that might come about, like going to Vegas with my family, or, you know, going to Palm Springs with some friends, or I don't know, maybe skipping out on Coachella, whatever it is, I'm going to be able to save up and invest and pour into myself for something I want to do, which is a really cool trip for my 30th birthday. So let me know if you guys are interested in maybe some more episodes on talking about like habit stacking and routines. There's a habit tracker that I'm interested in giving a whirl from this girl that I like to follow. Her name is Shelby Sacco. I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right, but I really enjoy following her on social media. There's also a calendar that I'm interested in. It's like this digital calendar that you hang somewhere in your house, and it's kind of like a shared calendar, but you could could put chores on there. Curious if anybody has it. It's called the Skylight calendar, but I've definitely had like a lot of those things on my mind. So if you guys want me to create a habit tracking calendar, I could do that as well. But let me know down below what your intentions are for the rest of 2025 in the comments so we could chat about them further in later episodes. I noticed a theme with some of the submissions that had come in this week, and a lot of them were boy focused or relationship focused. So I picked two that we could breeze through today. And the first one says, I need boy advice. I'm a sophomore and I like this guy, and I'm sort of friends with his sister. We have a mutual friend and have small talk once a week. It makes it a little more complicated. A lot of friends have found out that I like him because I guess I just make it obvious. I want to tell him that I like him. I've had this feeling for a little over a year. My friends have told me that they are low-key getting annoyed that I have not told him yet. I have severe social anxiety, and I know that if I told him face-to-face, I would die, but I also don't think that I could just talk to him. I don't think he likes me back, which I'm okay with, but I just need advice. I don't know what to do. I know this is messy. I'm sorry, XOXO. First of all, this is not that messy. This is incredibly normal, and this is something that a lot of people experience. But I feel like, what is the quote from the Cinderella story movie? You miss 100% of the swings you don't take. Right? What's that quote from Cinderella story? It's something about baseball. Cinderella story quote. I know what it is. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. I love that quote so much. I know that it might feel like you're gonna die if you tell him, but I think that if you are able to challenge yourself to tell him face to face, it'll be a lot more impactful. You'll be able to read body language. You're not going to give him an opportunity to leave you on red, go tell friends about it, talk behind your back, whatever it might be. But I think that it'll come off really sincere and genuine. I will never forget, I had such a character building moment when I think I was in like 6th grade. There's this guy, his name was AJ, obsessed, in love, thought this man was going to be my husband, literally obsessed with him. Went to school with him for like 10 years. And I remember approaching him. I had worked myself up all day long, hyped myself up. I was going to tell him at recess that I liked him and wanted to know if he wanted to be my boyfriend. I got rejected so quickly and so fast, and literally for the rest of our schooling together, like people loved to joke that like everybody knew that I liked him and he did not like me. But you know what? I still to this day, I'm like, I did that. I really said it with my whole chest. I meant it. I am proud of that. And it definitely made me more confident. And I was able to then feel like when I approached any sort of relationship situations in the future that I could tackle anything. If there's any way you could have some girlfriends or guy friends hype you up to go do it during lunch, after school, at a social event, talk to him in person, I would highly recommend, because I just feel like text message, it's easy for people to screenshot it, send it around, and I feel like the art of talking face-to-face is lost. My fingers are crossed for you. Please report back and let us know how it goes. The last submission that I have for today says, okay, so I've been talking on and off with a boy for a year now. I'm a senior in high school and he graduated last year. I lately have been getting a weird vibe from him, and it's so hard. We haven't talked for a couple months, and then he came back into my life. And I was so happy to have him back in my life because he's an amazing person. However, recently he just feels distant. I'm trying so hard to remember that it is okay and it will work out. I just need advice because I feel like he's becoming someone that I used to know, and I hate that so much because he means so much to me. I'm really struggling with this and would love some advice. Love the podcast and your content and the positivity you share. Thanks for all that you do. Thanks so much for sending this in. I can heavily resonate with this feeling because I actually met Matt, who's been my boyfriend for a very long time. I met him junior year going into senior year, which is a very interesting time. It's a very transitional time period. There's a lot of maturing, a lot of decision making. You're thinking about college. People are moving. There's a lot happening, and I can only imagine with the fact that you guys aren't in the same grade how difficult that makes it. He is in a significantly different, I'm assuming he might have gone to college or whatever it is. Regardless, being a senior and being one grade after graduating high school, the amount of growth and growing up, maturity, lessons that you learn during that time period are so invaluable. So number one, I'm going to tell you, do not get too hung up on this guy. That's pretty much impossible. I know that because I, too, was very hung up on Matt in this sort of exact situation. For me, in my situation, we ended up going to completely different colleges. He was going to school in Chicago. I was staying in Florida. I knew I was going to be moving to LA after college, but that was 4 years away at that point. And I had no idea if he was going to stay in Chicago, come back to Florida, move somewhere else. And I was really struggling with that. Everyone used to tell me during that time period, do not let getting hung up on this guy, which was Matt, take away from fully embracing the college experience or the senior year experience And I'm going to encourage you to do the same. I always like to remind myself whenever people give strong signals as to where they're at, and this applies to literally any part of life, when people show you who they are, let them. And that doesn't have to mean in a bad way. It can be in a really positive way as well. Like if he has been distant with you, it is probably because he is going through a really big transition, and that is his top priority right now in life. Not to say that you're not important to him, not to say that there is 0% chance that you guys are going to actually rekindle anything or start a flame if there's no rekindling to be done. But recognizing that the seasons that you're in are very different is super important. And then after you can recognize that, coming to terms with the fact that like now might not be the time for you guys, and that is okay. And allowing yourself to not, like, as long as you obviously aren't, I'm assuming you're not together or don't have any sort of like we're exclusive or anything. If that's not the case, allowing yourself to be okay with the fact that now might not be the time for you, but also accept the fact that you can explore other options. You can just decide to focus on your friends or senior year and finishing that out. And if he decides to pop back in, you don't have to immediately be okay with like talking to him or going full-fledged, but you can at least have the acceptance to know that like I have allowed myself the space to be okay with whatever the outcome of this is going to be. But I would also encourage you, my last piece of advice is to ask him directly, hey, I know that you're really busy right now and this is a super like important time in your life. I'm really interested in exploring something. Is that something that you think you have time for or like the mental space for right now? A question like that can go a really long way because he might not have even thought of that. Does that make sense? I'm so excited for you. What an exciting, fun time period. I really wish I would have documented it a little bit better because it was so fun. I remember driving across the country after I graduated high school. I moved after I graduated college, I moved a couple weeks later to California, and senior year was truly one of my favorite time periods of my entire life. So excited for you guys. Thank you everyone for listening. If you have any questions, advice, story times, Easter eggs, you want to talk about pop culture, Taylor Swift, whatever it is, fill out the submission form. I cannot wait to hear from you. I'm really excited for the week ahead. Cannot wait for Wicked next week. And I guess that's it for now. I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.